Good morning. I'm not quite sure if I'm live here or not because seems like, well, we had a rainstorm last night and my internet might be a little wonky here. But if I am live, it is Friday morning, 6:52 a.m., June 10th, 2022 on the East Coast of the United States. So this morning, I have a little bit of interesting information for you, and then we're going to make a cup of coffee. So I wanted to talk to you about, well, have you ever used essential oils and you drop them into a thing that kind of mists them up, or maybe onto some sticks, and the moisture travels up the stick and it releases the odor. And those gadgets are called diffusers because they use the process of diffusion, which is that the little molecules of the odor part of the essential oil travel up into the air. So the reason that I can open this and smell it, this is lavender by the way, is because diffusion is happening. So let me show you this. See how I've got my spices that I use for my coffee here? Oh, it just looks so pretty and interesting. I've got chili, Saigon cinnamon, cardamom pods, ginger, ground cardamom. I've got 2 different kinds of pumpkin pie spices. These are things that I like to use in my coffee, and it gives an interesting little display in my coffee area. But do you know what? Let me tell you some stuff about spices and herbs too, okay? They are photosensitive. So that means that something like this chili or this ginger, or if I had basil or thyme or any kind of herb or spice, just being exposed to the light can cause their flavors to break down. Do they have essential oils in them? Yes. The way that essential oils are gotten into these little bottles that you buy for your essential oil diffusers is by removing them from, well, in that case, lavender flowers, or, depending on what type of oil you have. Peppermint's a popular one. Well, they remove it from peppermint plants. Anyhow, so the light can cause anything that has odors in it that are light sensitive, like plant matter, to start to break down, okay? So that, in other words, let's say, this is something, when I was growing up, my mother had this thing of cinnamon, much bigger than this, and she never cooked or baked, so we had that thing of cinnamon for years. And I remember when I finally was a teenager and I took cooking class in school. They used to teach cooking. I don't know if they do that anymore in schools. And I went to use the cinnamon and I opened it up. You really had to sniff it hard to figure out just what was in there. When I opened this, I'm not even inhaling, and whoo, the odor hits me. This is nice, spicy cinnamon. Okay, so you don't want to expose your herbs and spices to light. Also, you don't want to expose them to air. So close them up after you use them, because you know what happens? You ever heard of oxidation? Okay. The things that make the odors start combining with oxygen, and it actually starts it breaking down. So it will start losing its odor. It's not, oh, when I say oxidation, I don't mean it's going up into the air. I mean there's a chemical process happening that will result in a lessening of the taste or odor of that product. And then all these herbs and spices, especially a lot of these very powdered spices and herbs are hygroscopic. Hygro, Hygro, scopic. That means they attract water. They, if you put them, expose them to the air, the more humid the air is, you'll find they're clumping up, and also you'll find they start to lose their odor and their taste. So how do we protect this stuff from light and air and humidity? Oh, and by the way, heat. Heat will speed up all these processes and cause your herbs and spices to really lose their flavor and odor. So you saw, I have my herbs and spices sitting out there, and it occurred to me the other day, I thought, what am I doing? I always tell people don't do this. I know they look pretty, but if I want them to taste pretty, I need to do something different with them. So I have this little basket, and I've put them all in here, and I'm gonna pop them in. I'll show you. I mean, hopefully you can find a space in your kitchen, but I've just popped that basket in on top of my skinny syrups. So I hope that that's helped you some. You know, it's awful to open up a jar of an herb or a spice, and you know, you take a sniff of it and you go, what is that? I don't smell anything. Or you crumble it between your fingers. Oh, I don't smell anything. Maybe it's been exposed to the light, to the air, to humidity, to heat. Don't store them up over your stove or next to your oven, because that will speed up the process of causing those lovely aromas and tastes to just go up into the air and disappear, or just break down inside the bottle. Oh, you know, speaking of lovely tastes and aromas, I'm going to need this chili powder, because we are going to make some chili chocolate latte. Okay, oh, I didn't get milk. Let me go get milk. Oh, let me get that milk out of the fridge. Okay, and I'm using almond milk. Let me turn on my machine here so it can start heating up. Okay. And I'm going to put in about 3.5 or 4 ounces of milk into my milk frother. Okay, I'm going to let that just sit there a second. Okay, here's my cup. Now, I'm going to use measurements, but you don't have to. You know, you can just sort of eyeball it. Now, this particular chili powder has this shaker, but I'm going to take the lid off because I'm going to use measurements. Let me get a little knife here. Okay, why do I need a knife? I'll show you. Okay, will I show you? You know, part of the, ooh, okay. Can you see? Let me put it up here. Okay, so when you're measuring, this is a 1/2 teaspoon measure. So you want to use something flat so that everything is nice and flat. that is a half teaspoon, okay? I'm gonna put it in my cup. Boy, I was lucky. That almost didn't fit down in here. So let me just show you something. If I can get it out without making a mess. Oh, it almost doesn't fit. This is not a half teaspoon. See how it's mounded up? It's only a half teaspoon if you flatten it off. Just this bowl part is the half teaspoon measure. Okay, so I've got chili all over the top of my stove. That's okay. All right, now, chili powder on top of my chocolate powder. Okay, now I'm going to want a teaspoon and a half of this cocoa powder. Now, I left a little bit of the paper on here, so I don't have to use the knife. Okay, so this goes into the cup. So that was the half. Now the full teaspoon. So that's a teaspoon and a half of cocoa powder. Let me just bung this into the sink. Okay. Now, the coffee. When you're using chili powder in coffee, you want to go ahead and use a coffee that's got a little bit of intensity to it so that the chili powder won't just totally overwhelm the coffee. So I've got my Napoli. Okay, let me lower this down a little bit. Now, I'm running it as an espresso. And you know how chocolate powder, cocoa powder, does not mix very easily with water. And you could say, well, you know, you could put it in with the milk, and then the milk frother will help to mix it up. And that is true. I could do that. But I want to have a nice white froth. I have this little tiny whisk here, so I'm going to use it. You know, that spring inside the coffee frother is a whisk. It's just in the shape of a circular spring. So I'll let you look down in here because it is mixing it up. Okay, so now, all right, why do I have light coming out of the back of my phone? I don't know. Somehow or another, I turned on a light in the back of my phone. All righty, so now I'm going to go ahead. Oh, okay. I'm losing my place here. I thought, now I'm going to put the espresso in. Wait. That's got liquid in it. Oh, it's espresso. Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, I definitely need a cup of coffee, right? All right. Oh, you can smell the chili. And obviously you can smell the chocolate. And here I am leaning down in all the powder. You know, vacuum later. Just sweep all that onto the floor. Okay, I'm going to pop the milk back in the fridge while this milk froths up. Okay, so what are we making again? We're making chili chocolate. There we go. Chili chocolate cappuccino latte. I don't stick strictly to the definitions of what is a cappuccino, what is a latte. There are different proportions of coffee, milk, and froth that make the difference in these things. So if you want, you can call it coffee, chili, chocolate milk or something. Okay, so This should be ready in just a second. Oh yes, it's frothing up nicely. And now I'm gonna wanna get a spoon. Just one last little couple of stirs here. And our froth is ready. Let me pop this in the sink. Okay. You know what I just realized? Oh my goodness. I forgot to put in some sort of sweetener. Well, maybe I won't need it. Let's see, have I got a spoon here? Have I got one here? Okay, have I got one in my, let me get a spoon here. I thought I had everything organized this morning. Maybe it won't need sweetener. Of course, it does have all that unsweetened cocoa in it. I'll give it a try anyway. I can always add sweetener, but I can't take it out, right? Okay. Oh, let me taste this. Ooh. Oh, that chili. Whoa. That chili powder, you know, normally when I make something with chili powder in it, when I make a beverage, I just put a few shakes, but using that half teaspoon measure, woo! Okay, you know what? I've got some chocolate coconut macaron syrup here. Oh, that chili, that's really good. Oh, should I sweeten it or not? Let me taste it again. I'm not sure. It's so good like this. I'm really glad that I didn't sweeten it to begin with. Oh, but I want to see what happens if I put a little bit of sweetener in. Well, it shouldn't change that nice hotness from the chili, right? Okay, just a little bit of this Jordan Skinny Syrup chocolate coconut macaron. The primary flavor in this, when you taste it, is the chocolate. All righty. What's so neat is in the back of my throat and like sort of the top of my palate and also down in my throat is this heat. Oh, it's really nice. It's not too much. Oh, this is really special. I gotta tell you, the sweetener has brought out much more of that cocoa flavor that I put in there, you know, of the powder. And of course the heat from the chili is still there. And the Napoli is strong enough that I can, you know, I'm getting the nice coffee flavor. Oh, this is a keeper. Oh my goodness. Sometimes it pays to follow recipes and not just, you know, shake and pour and sprinkle. This is very good. Well, look, I hope that you enjoy your Friday and that you make good choices. Have a good day.